Hi, my name's Simone and I'm a textile artist. I've previously run textile sessions at Central Library. Today, this little workshop is going to show you how to make a decorative wall hanging like this one. And it's made using a really simple weaving technique. So first of all, you're going to need some yarn. So I've had these old balls of wool sitting around at home, but if you don't worry, if you don't have anything like that, you can use scraps of fabric. You can even use strips of paper. Now here there's a few old bits of wrapping paper, there's coloured card, tissue paper, and that makes quite a nice paper version of this workshop too. If you can't find enough paper, I've even made it out of old recycled packaging materials, which is a great way to use up things that you might not want anymore. So I've used old carrier bags, old packaging, there's even a bit of bubble wrap too. The next thing you're going to need is your loom. And for that you'll need some fairly rigid card. I've recycled this from previous projects, but you could use things like old shoe boxes or tissue boxes or cereal packets, but something that's fairly rigid. The next thing you'll need is some scissors, pen or pencil, a ruler, some string. I've got garden twine because that's all I had in at the moment. If not string, you can use sewing thread or old scraps of knitting yarn. So to make your loom, you're going to cut your card into a square or rectangle, and what I've done here is mark along the top and the bottom at regular intervals. That's where you're going to need your ruler. I've done it at sort of every 2 centimetres across the top and the bottom, making sure they line up nicely. Once you've done that, the next thing you want to do is cut along each of those markings using your scissors. Just across there. Each little snip only needs to be, I don't know, 1/2 centimetre, and work your way along the top and the bottom. Once you've done that, you can take your string, and this is going to make your warp yarn. Now your warp is the thread that runs from the top to the bottom. Using the string, insert it into your first incision at the top. Match it up at the bottom and keep working your way across top to bottom. You want to pull the string so it's fairly taut, not too baggy, but not so tight that you pull it out. Work your way right across the card until you get to the end. Once you've done that, you can see that on the front they're nice and parallel. On the back, the string runs diagonally, so that always tells you that's the back. And these 2 loose sections, if you've got some sellotape, you can just secure the ends. If you haven't got tape, maybe you could just tie a knot in the string to stop it unraveling quite so easily. Then you're ready to start weaving. So what you're going to end up with is a pattern where the yarn goes over and under each of your warp strings. What I've done is cut some lengths of the yarn so that it doesn't get too much in a tangle, and it gives you maybe 3 or 4 rows at a go. And I'll show you how to get started. So on your first string, I would start off by going underneath. This next one, you're going to go over it. So then the third one, you'll be going back underneath. Over and under, over and under. So you have an alternate pattern. If you pull your yarn through, this section here, I would tie it to this string so that it doesn't come loose. Just a little knot. So that's your first row done. And what you'll do is do the reverse on your second row. So if your last stitch went underneath the string, you're going to start off going over the top. So that's over, under your second one, over, under the next one, and so on. Pull it through, not too tightly so that it doesn't distort the string, and push them down so they're nice straight lines. Okay? Then you just keep repeating backwards and forwards until you build up a pattern that you're happy with. So I'll just show you the next row. Over, under, over, under, and under the last one. Pull it through and straighten it. If you want to change colour, it's quite simple. Cut that off. Just pick your next colour and tie the two pieces together. A bit like that. Sorry, like that. Cut these two loose ends off. And then you continue to weave as you were before. Over and under. Pull it through. And there's your pattern emerging. So, when you've got to your final few rows, you can see that it's coming together quite nicely. I'll show you how to finish off. So, carry on over and under. When you get to the end, this loose thread, I tie it to this first string, just there. This just helps it not to unravel after you've done all that hard work. So see, just tie it off. And I'd cut it fairly close. Now you're ready to do the big reveal and take it off the loom. So turn your card over and you're going to cut through all of those strings at the back. If you've used it, you can remove your sellotape. and then you're going to just individually pull off each of the strings from the loom. Be careful not to pull it right the way through your weaving though, otherwise it will unravel. So that's nice and loose, and do the same. There we go. So these strings, they get tied together in pairs at the top and the bottom, just to keep the work nice and neat. Just a normal double knot. Once you've done the top and bottom, you can cut those strings so they're much closer and neater. Once you're happy with your work, you can attach a piece of string at the top to make it into your hanging. Just loop it through the threads at the top. And there you have it, a finished piece of art. Thank you. Let us know how you get on. Thank you.